My name is Azama. I teach Japanese at North Salinas High School in Salinas, California, and I was awarded in 2013. The school I'm currently teaching has a huge 75% of our students. It's free lunch, a reduced lunch program. And home situations, it's really sad to hear that the other day a student was not eating lunch, and I asked him, so where's your lunch? And he said, I don't have lunch. Then I knew there's a lunch line that's usually takes about 40 minutes to get the lunch. So the whole lunch period is 45 minutes. So like, so he said, one thing he said was, I'm used to not eating. That really shocked me. And here I was eating sandwich. Had to put my sandwich down and had to ask him what if his parents are not working, and what's stopping and what does that mean? You used to not eating, and he revealed that both of his parents work really hard, and his brother and sister work, but they still have a hard time putting food on the table, and it just breaks my heart. And the student who spoke Spanish fluently and Japanese to be the third language. So for him to learn Japanese and see the world, and this is the only chance he gets to see the outside of his own world and can have a hope for the future. And I just knew that he wanted to go to Japan, but he doesn't have the passport, he doesn't have the funds, and I just, but he excels in learning Japanese. So here's a hope for him. And it's just that people do come from different difficult home situations. And it's so fortunate that I get to, it's a gift for me to work with those students. To give them some hope, and actually in return they give me a hope that our future is going to be okay somewhat, because I know these kids have this even though the situation is dire, difficult, they have this desire for learning and desire to learn about themselves, to find themselves and find their roles in the world. And I think that's evident in my classroom and our classrooms, and it's just so yeah. I think I feel fortunate to have the job to witness the global citizens in the making, in true sense of global citizens who can put oneself in others' shoes and see things in different multiple ways. We tend to focus on the solution for the problem, but it's really, I think we need more students who can come up with the multiple solutions rather than one simple answer to address this world complex issues. And Salinas was named the second least educated town in the country by Forbes magazine. You can imagine what kind of people read Forbes. So students do see themselves inferior to others, and the other day or last year we had a student, and there's a gang violence is really epidemic in Salinas, and last year was particularly really bad year, and we lost a student, and also one of my students' father was killed in one of those shootings. And I was hoping that he wouldn't show up next day when I heard that news. I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know how to approach, and I was not prepared, but he did show up. So I acknowledge, sincere, condolence to him, and he kept coming to school. Only day he missed was his father's funeral, and actually another day was the court appearance to see the murder of his father. So that day he came. A month after that, he was working on his project. It's a simple project He was a sophomore kid, my level 1 first year Japanese, where he had to introduce himself entirely in Japanese for about a minute. A simple task like that. I knew he could do it. That was a Friday afternoon, and I saw him like walking. I knew that he hasn't finished. I was like, "Hey, aren't you gonna finish it?" Well, my grandma's waiting here and pick me up. She can wait. Let's videotape your, Japanese introduction. Okay, so we start filming, and first time we did it, he didn't do it perfectly. So he's like, "Oh, can I do it again? Can I do it again?" He kept going. I just did not know he was a perfectionist, but he was a perfectionist. So he kept going at it, and this was Friday afternoon. I wanted to go home. I almost gave up, almost, but kept going. The 10th time, he did it. He did it in the way that he liked it. He was smiling. I captured the moment, and I said, "Hey, let's go see your grandma outside. I know she's waiting." So we went outside to her car. Here's a woman who, I don't mean to judge people by appearance, but let me describe how she looks. It's tattooed everywhere and pierced all the way, and she looked a little bit intimidating. So she got out of the car, looked angry because she was, waiting, and my animal instinct kicked in. I said, "Oh, you want to see what, your grandson did?" And I showed the video on my iPhone, him speaking entirely in Japanese fluently, and she started crying. She said, "Your father would be so proud of you." And as they were driving off, and kid rolled down the window, and he said "arigato," which means thank you in Japanese. And all I could think about was, where's my Hollywood music coming, But it doesn't happen often. We don't, as teachers, we're used to not getting thank you. But once in a while, this kind of thing happens, and this can, carry me for a long time. And for that kid, Japanese is the only class that he could excel, and he can start over because he labeled himself that he's the kind of kid that couldn't do well. But with Japanese, for fun, I don't know, whatever reason, he was able to do well.